Spell to summon that angel again required an incalculable amount of money and manpower, but Ainzel Gown, this mysterious being, was worthy of being eliminated by its power. More importantly, it would be worse if the crystal was taken without the spell being cast. This was what Nigan told himself. He concealed his fear that he would become a lump of meat like his deceased underling. I am going to summon an angel of the highest order, hurry up, and buy me some time. Once they realized the truth, his subordinates moved swiftly. Ains, who was facing them, should have noticed the flames of hope blazing up. However, he made no move, instead babbling about some nonsense to himself. Could that be a spell-sealing crystal? And from its brilliance, it should be something that can seal anything except a super-tier spell. So they have a Yggdrasil item like that as well. That being the case, what kind of angel can they summon? Seraph class? Albedo, protect me with your skill. While I don't think they can bring out a Seraph Esphere, if they manage to summon a Seraph Empyrean, we will have to fight them seriously. Or rather, could it be a monster unique to this world? While Ains held his ground, Nigan ritually broke the crystal in his hand, and a brilliant radiance spilled forth. A hidden sun seemed to have risen upon the land, dyeing the grass a blinding white. A dull fragrance filtered into everyone's noses. The legendary angel descended upon the earth, and Nigan exulted, behold. The glorious visage of the highest angel. Dominion authority. It was a mass of many shining wings, and among them were a pair of arms that held a scepter, symbolizing royal authority, but neither its head nor legs were visible. Though it looked quite disturbing, anyone could tell this was a sacred being. In the moment it appeared, the surrounding air turned bright and clear. The advent of this supreme incarnation of goodness drew wild cheers from everyone who saw it. The blood of Nigan's men boiled with excitement. Now they could kill Ainzel Gown. This time, he would be the one to be afraid. He would learn his foolishness before the power of the gods. In the face of their jubilance, Ains barely managed to get a sentence out. This is it? This is what you call getting serious? This is your ace in the hole that you were planning to use on me? As he saw Ains' shock, Nigan, who had been extremely uneasy, breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, his heart was filled with joy as he replied, indeed. Your fear is only natural. After all, this is what an angel of the highest order looks like. While using it here seems like a bit of a waste, I have determined that you are worthy of it. How could this be? Ains slowly raised his hand and covered his face. To Nigan, it looked like a gesture of despair. Ainzel Gown. The truth is, you deserve respect for forcing me to summon this most exalted of angels. Be proud of your fearsome strength, magic caster. Nigan nodded deeply, and continued, personally speaking, I would like to bring you into our fold. If you are truly that powerful, however, I am not allowed to do so on this mission. At the very least, I shall remember you, the magic caster who made me decide to summon this mighty angel. However, the response to Nigan's praise was a cold voice. Really, this is ridiculous. What? Nigan had no idea what Ains was saying. To Nigan, Ains was little more than a sacrifice to the highest order of angel, which humanity could not possibly defeat. Yet, his attitude seemed too relaxed for that. I can't believe I was on guard against such child's play. My apologies, Albedo. I made you use your skill for nothing. Please, do not say that, Ains-sama. We did not know what manner of monster they might have called forth, so it was prudent to reduce the chances of injury. Is that so? No, you're right. It's just that I did not expect this to be all. It was quite unexpected. Nigan's mind could not keep up with their patronizing banter. How can you act like that in front of the angel of the highest order? Nigan shouted. He could not believe that Ains and Albedo were chatting leisurely and completely ignoring Dominion authority. Their calm attitude of absolute superiority made the surging joy in Nigan's heart vanish. In its place was terror and unease. Could it be that Ainzel Gown is more powerful than this mightiest of angels? No. Impossible. It cannot be. Nobody can be stronger than the highest placed of the angels. This is a being which can defeat a demon god. In the face of a foe that humanity cannot beat, It's a bluff. It must be a bluff. It would seem Nigan could no longer control his emotions. He would not acknowledge this. He could not believe that a man who could defeat Dominion authority was not only an enemy of the slain theocracy, but was standing right in front of him. Use it. Use Holy Smite. This was magic of the 7th tier and above, a realm humanity could not reach. Even the large-scale rituals in the slain theocracy could not cast it, but this most exalted of angels, Dominion authority, could do it by itself. That was why it was ranked among the highest order of all angels. The magic that Nigan ordered to be cast, the 7th tier Holy Smite, was such a mighty spell. I get it. Hurry up and make your move. I won't do anything. That should satisfy you, right? However, Ain's relaxed attitude was like a pedestrian letting another person walk past him. His casual attitude filled Nigan with fear. This angel of the highest order had once defeated the demon gods of legends. Its omnipotent power was enough to qualify it as the mightiest being on the continent. It was invincible. Yet, if someone could defeat it, if the mysterious magic caster before him could do it, it would mean that this mysterious person was a far stronger being than a demon god. Such a person could not exist. In response to its summoner's wish to use its most powerful attack, Dominion authority shattered its scepter. The fragments rose up into the air and slowly orbited its body. I see. So this is a once-per-summoning special skill that it uses to augment its spell power. It would seem this Dominion is about the same as the one in Yggdrasil, Holy Smite. The spell was cast, and a pillar of light broke through the sky. With a loud whoosh, a seemingly endless cascade of holy blue-white radiance flooded down from the heavens, submerging Ain's, who simply raised one arm to shade his eyes. The 7th tier of magic, a height humanity could not hope to attain. This sacred power would annihilate all evil beings, and even good entities would meet the same fate. The difference was only if they were reduced to sightless atoms, or if there would actually be remains left behind. This was the awesome power of magic that exceeded the realm of humanity. No, it would be strange if that were not the case. Yet, he was still there. Ain's gown, the monster, was not blasted into glowing ash, sprawled on the ground, or pulverized into meat jelly, but he was still standing nonchalantly, and even laughing, ha 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 ha, as expected of magic that has extra effect on those of evil alignment. So this is what taking damage feels like a pain, is it? I see. Still, even though I feel pain, my mind is clear, and my ability to act is not affected at all. The pillar of light vanished. It had not had any effect. Wonderful, I've concluded another experiment. His voice sounded indifferent. No, it would be more accurate to say that he was satisfied. Nigan and company thought that way, and the smiles on their faces froze. However, one person was filled with anger. You inferior life forms. Albedo's shout ripped through the air. You inferior life forms. How dare you do such a thing to my beloved lord, Ain-sama? You pieces of trash, how dare you cause pain to the man I love, my master Ain-sama? Do not think that I will allow you to die so easily. I will have you taste the greatest suffering this world has to offer until you go mad from agony. I will melt off your limbs with acid, cut off your genitals, and feed them to you as mincemeat. Then I will heal you and do it again. Aha! I hate you. I hate you so much that my heart is going to burst. Her arms, clawing at her head, and sheathed in black armor, were writhing. It felt like the world was distorting, with her at the center. A wave of world-twisting, courage-sapping malice smashed into them like a hurricane. Something seemed to be crawling under that black armor, like there was an enormous creature that was about to break through the plates and reveal itself. Nigan knew this was happening, but there was nothing he could do but stand there, and watch the emergence of a monster that would pollute the world. Only one person in this world could rein her in. Ains raised his hand and quietly said, "That's enough, Albedo." Those words were enough to stop Albedo in her tracks. But Ain-sama, these inferior life forms. It's fine, Albedo, everything has gone according to my predictions, aside from the weakness of the angels. What else is there to be angry about? As Albedo heard this, she raised a hand to her breast and bowed in acknowledgement. As expected of Ains-sama, your insight is truly fitting of the title Fathomless. I am in awe. No, the truth is, I'm quite glad that you would be worried and angry for me. However, your charming smile is far more preferable. Gufu. Charming. Cough, thank you, Ains-sama. Now then, I'm sorry you had to wait for so long. Nigan, who was stunned by their easygoing back and forth, finally managed to recover enough of his senses to shout, I know it. I know your true identities. Demon gods. You must be demon gods. There were scant few intelligent beings that Nigan knew of, which could stand on par with the highest tier angels, the 6 gods which Nigan believed in, the kings of the mighty draconic races, the dragon lords. The legendary monster who could destroy an entire country, landfall. And one more, the demon gods. He had heard that the 13 heroes had defeated and sealed away the demon gods. Judging by that wave of evil from just now, that must have been a demon god about to break its seal. At the same time, Nigan had the faint hope that if they were demon gods, then Dominion authority might still have a chance to win. One more time. Use Holy Smite. Ains said that the spell had hurt. That meant that he had been injured. It might mean that he had trouble just standing up. Countless mites popped up in Nigan's mind. Without them, he would go mad. However, Ains would not permit a second attack. Now, it's my turn and no despair. Black hole. A small point appeared on Dominion Authority's shining body. It slowly enlarged into a yawning black void. The black hole swallowed everything. It was so underwhelming that it made them stare in dumbfounded silence. It might even be laughable. But they could no longer see it. As the radiance of Dominion Authority vanished, the light drained from the surroundings. There was only the sound of the wind blowing across the plains. And then a hoarse cry broke the silence. Who are you people? Nigan asked these impossible beings again. I have never heard the name of a magic caster called Ains-Ulgaun before. No, there can't be someone who could destroy the highest ranked angel in one blow. Someone like that should not exist. Nigan shook his head powerlessly. All I know is that you are far beyond a demon god. This is unbelievable. Who exactly are you? Like I said, I am Ains-Ulgaun. In the past, there was nobody who did not tremble at this name. Well, I guess we've spent enough time on idle chatter. Going on would only be pointless. Also, just so we don't waste each other's time, there is an anti-teleport effect surrounding me, and my subordinates are waiting in ambush. You have nowhere to run. The sun set completely, and darkness swallowed the land. Nigan knew that this was the end. This was an unassailable reality. Just as his subordinates fell into despair one after the other, cracks appeared in the sky, like the breaking of a pot. They vanished in an instant, and the scenery returned to normal. As confusion washed over Nigan, Ains answered, Good grief, you should thank me. It would seem someone was using divination magic to keep an eye on you, but because I was in the spell's effective range, my anti-scrying offensive barrier activated, and you were not observed. Really, if I had known, I would have linked a higher tier attack spell to it. Those words filled Nigan's eyes with realization. The slain theocracy must have been spying on him. A widened explosion might not be enough to teach them how to behave. Oh well, things being as they are, playtime is over. A wave of cold ran through Nigan as he picked up the hidden meaning in those words. He who had always been the oppressor, was now going to become one of the oppressed. He was filled with an incomparable fear. The fear that he, who had taken countless lives in the past, was now going to have his own life taken. His subordinates saw his terrified expression, and it frightened them as well. He was on the verge of tears. He wanted to kneel down and loudly beg for his life, but Ains did not look like a compassionate man. Thus, Nigan fought back the urge to weep, trying his best to look for a way to survive. But no matter how he thought, he could not think of any way to get help from the outside. Therefore, his only hope was to throw himself on the mercy of Ains-Ulgaun. Wait a bit. Ainsul Gaundano, no, Sama. Please wait, no, I wish to make a deal with you. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. As long as you spare me, I will give you any amount of money you want. He could see his shocked subordinates out of the corner of his eye, but they were no longer relevant to him. The thing that mattered now was his own life. Everything else was of secondary importance. Besides, he could find more subordinates, but his own self was irreplaceable. Ignoring the countless angry voices of his men, Nigan continued, "It must be difficult to satisfy the tastes of such a great magic caster as yourself, but I will definitely prepare enough money to please you. I have a position of some power in my country, so they will definitely pay any price to ransom me. Of course, if you desire anything else, I will do my best to meet your wishes. So I beg you, please spare my life." Nigan panted as he finished his monologue. What about it? Ainsul Gaun-sama. A delicate, gentle woman's voice responded to Nigan's desperate plea. Did you not reject the compassionate offer of the Supreme One, Ain-sama? That is. I know what you want to say. You wanted to beg for your life because accepting his proposition would also mean your death. Am I correct? The black-helmeted head shook, as though it was tired of talking. You seem to have gotten the wrong idea. Since Ain-sama, who holds the power of life and death in Nazarick, has already stated his will, inferior lifeforms like you humans should lower your heads and gratefully await the taking of your lives. Albedo's forceful words were backed by an adamant resolve. She's mad. This woman is mad. Nigan, who realized this, looked hopefully to Ains. Ains had been quietly listening to them. When he realized that Nigan was waiting for his decision, he shook his head in exasperation and said, "Indeed, it is as she says. Cease your pointless struggles and lie down quietly. As a final act of mercy, I will kill you without drawing out your suffering." Part 2. As he walked along the night-veiled plains, Ains raised his head. What greeted him was the beautiful sight of stars in the sky. Ains sighed at the scenery for the second time, and then he headed back to the village. He had gone a little overboard. As long as Albedo was by his side, he could not afford to appear useless to her. As her master, he needed to act in a fitting manner in front of his subordinates. While he might have gone a bit too far, it still fit the role he was playing. He did not know if he had passed or failed, but it would be fine as long as Albedo was not disappointed. Ains could not see Albedo's expression of, "Damn, Ain-sama was so cool," kufufufu under her closed helmet. Since he could not tell what she was thinking, he went over the day's proceedings once more. "Still, Ain-sama, why did you save Gazef?" "Why indeed?" Ains could not articulate his feelings at that time, so he tried to approximate them for her. "This was a problem we caused, so shouldn't we try and settle it ourselves?" "Then why did you give him that item?" "I was laying the foundation for future plans. Letting him hold it would be a good thing for me." Ains had given Gazef a cash item from Yggdrasil, but he had a great many of them. Although he could not replenish his stock of them, giving one away was not a great loss. In addition, Ains was actually happy to have less of those items. That was because those were consolation prizes from the 500 yen gacha draws, which reminded Ains of how profligate he had been with his spending and his poor lifestyle then. In addition, while he had spent countless 500 yen coins on finally getting the ultra-rare item that was the top prize, his former comrade Yumeko had gotten it on the first try. The impact of that incident cast an indelible shadow in Ains' heart. He had wanted to throw those consolation prizes away, but when he thought of the 500 yen it had cost, he could not bear to wastefully dispose of it. Well, it doesn't matter who ends up with that item in the end, or if it ends up being used or not. It's no loss to me. Would it not have been best to let me take care of things? There was no need to trouble Ains-sama to personally aid those inferior life forms. Surrounding them was hardly a difficult task, which is why I submit that Ains-sama did not need to personally take the field. Is that so? Without a device to measure power levels, that was all Ains could say in response. In Yggdrasil, one could determine the strength of an enemy by the color of their names. Beyond that, one could only rely on information from one's friends and walk through sites. Ains could not help but feel nostalgic. If only I had learned some divination-type spells, Ains thought, with a hint of regret. Of course, he did not know if those spells could be used here. However, if he could, then he would not have to be as nervous as he was now.
Now. Still, there was no point worrying about what I did not have. I decided to think of something else. I know your strength, Albedo, and I trust you. However, I would like you to discard such shallow thinking and remember that an enemy who is stronger than myself could appear at any time. This is especially true given that we do not quite understand this world, so I hope Gazef could do our work for us. Easy, so you said him as a pawn to fill out the enemy's strength. It is quite fitting to use inferior life forms like humans in that way. Although the closed helm revealed none of her emotions, her freshly flowered joy was obvious in her voice. I had once been a human being, and now I was undead. From years now, I had sensed that Albedo hated humans very much. However, it did not upset him or make him feel depressed. Rather, I felt that such thoughts were quite suitable for the inhuman guardian overseer of the great underground tomb of Nazareth. Indeed. However, that is not all. Since we saved him at the brink of death, I will be even more grateful to us. In addition, since the enemy was a special forces unit, the country's groups will not investigate the matter too openly. That was why I stepped in. As expected of Ainz-sama, so that was why you took the commander and the others alive. Marvelously done. Ainz could not help but feel proud when I heard Albedo's praise. After all, I managed to put together a sensible, coherent plan in a short period of time. Perhaps this was his leadership talent at work. Just then, Albedo's cheerful voice entered Ainz's self-satisfied ears. Still, was it necessary to take the angel swords with your precious body, Ainz-sama? Is that how it looked to you? When we first came to Carne Village, we used the nights on the outskirts to verify that my entire physical nullification was still working normally. Indeed, you are correct. I verified it with my own eyes as well.
However, I did not wish my eyes to helplessly watch the swords of those despicable angels piercing your body, Ainz-sama. I see. Though you were my shield, I did not take your feelings into consideration. You have and even if I knew you would emerge unscathed, which woman would want to see the man she loves being stabbed by swords? Ah yes. Ains did not know how to answer, so he let it slide as he continued to the village. Albedo did not seem to want to press the matter, and followed quietly. Once they reached the village, the villagers, led by the Death Knight, came out to meet them. They lavished praise and thanks onto them, and Ains saw Gazef among the villagers. Oh, Warrior Captain Dano, I'm glad you're all right. I should have gone to your side earlier, but the item I gave you took some time to work, which was why I was almost too late. My apologies. What are you saying? It is I who should thank you, Gaundano. After all, you saved me. Speaking of which, where did those fellows go? Since Gazef had changed his tone somewhat, Ains decided to nonchalantly inspect him. Gazef had taken off his armor, and carried no weapons with him. He was bruised all over and half his face was swollen up, like a strange-looking, misshapen ball. Yet, a fire burned within his eyes. Ains turned away, as though he had seen something brilliant. His eyes reflexively went to the ring Gazef wore on his left ring finger. So he was married. It's probably good that his wife won't need to shed tears for him. As he thought about that, Ains decided to carefully put on an act. Oh, I chased them off. I couldn't take care of all of them, as I thought. That was a lie, of course. They had all been shipped back to the great underground tomb of Nazareth. Gazef narrowed his eyes a little, but neither of them spoke. The air between them grew tense. In the end, Gazef broke the silence. Truly amazing. I do not know how I can repay you for your help, Gaundano. Please, look for me when you come to the royal capital. I will welcome you with open arms. Is that so then? I will have to impose on you when the time comes. Gaundano, I do not know what plans you have, but would you be willing to travel with us? We will be staying in this village for a while. Is that so? Well, I was planning to move on, though I have not decided my destination yet. Still, it's already so late, traveling now would be. Gazef cut himself off halfway. Forgive me, there was no need to worry about a mighty being like yourself, Gaundano. Then, please seek me out when you reach the capital. My doors will always be open to you. In addition, I am deeply grateful to you for your gift of a full set of equipment from the knights who attacked the village. Ains nodded and decided that he had taken care of everything he needed to do in this village. There had been more things to do here than he had expected, and he had spent more time here than he had planned. Let's go home, Albedo, Ains said in a voice low enough that only Albedo could hear. She immediately turned around joyfully in response, although she was still wearing her full plate armor. Clone. New paste. Few persons can be made to believe that it is not quite an easy thing to invent a method of secret writing which shall baffle investigation. Yet it may be roundly asserted that human ingenuity cannot concoct a cipher which human ingenuity cannot resolve. Edgar Allan Poe. 183,146 pastes opened. Based on an original idea from sebsavage.net. Sam,